welcome to my channel. I am Stephanie. This is day number 13 of VEDA, video every day in April. And this year I am revisiting one of the over 2,000 books that I have read in the last 10 years, doing some fun questions. And today's recommendations are going to be talking about books that I wish I could read for the first time again. Does that make sense? As I said, this is the 13th day of VEDA, and if you're new here, VEDA is video every day in April, and this year's format, I decided to revisit one of the over 2,000 books that I have read in the last 10 years since 2012 and starting my Goodreads journey. I put the titles in a random name picker, and we're going to test my memory of can I remember the author's name of the book that was chosen, and can I tell you a little bit about it? We'll check out my Goodreads to see if I actually know what I'm talking about. Then we're going to talk about some fun pod deck questions. Those are picked at random as well. I haven't prepared anything for them. And then I'm going to give you two recommendations for two books that I wish I could read for the first time. I encourage you to comment in the comment section, join in on the conversation. I do love that. So let's first get into the book that I am supposed to try to remember. The book's name is Closer, and that is all that is given. Wow. I think this is a Alexa Riley novella. I could be very, very wrong. I could be very, very wrong. I've read a couple thrillers with like short names like this as well, but I'm not sure. So my guess for today's book for Closer is Alexa Riley. Short novella of insta love, breeding, things like that. I have this feeling, because the more that I say Closer, I have this feeling and this picture of the Read Me Romance podcast cover. And I want to say this may have been one of their first books that they did on the Read Me Romance podcast. So let's jump on over to my Goodreads and see if I was right or not. Oh, what? Stephanie's doing 2 for 2, baby. But see, as you can see, I have read a couple books that have the name Closer in it. But of course, number 1 shows up as that Alexa Riley book. I'm so excited for the fact that I got this right. I cannot believe this. So we're going to let my little slow computer do what it's due. And this is not the cover that came to mind, but this other one is right here. Of course, I can't make it big. So this cover down here is the cover that I was thinking of. I gave this 5 stars. So what do we have? We have probably the normal Alexa Riley short novella, quick, fast, insta love, smexy times right off the bat. So we have Ava fudged a little on her resume to land her dream job. She's been working her curvy bottom overtime to get her boss's new lingerie line off the ground. But when her boss's brother comes in and says Ava should be the face and the body of the campaign, she's having second thoughts. Oh yes. Oh yes. This is the light. Oh my gosh. I loved this book. So all I had to say, I read this in 2018, and all I had to say was super fun and sexy. And the full video review is in November 2018's wrap up. Like I said, you can find this over on their podcast of Read Me Romance. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's still available. I can't remember if this was, I think this was pre-podcast on YouTube, but they may have recorded it for YouTube. So make sure you go check that out. And then if you want to hear my feelings, you can definitely check out my 2018 book review, or monthly wrap-ups is where it is. So check out my 2018 monthly wrap-ups. So let's do our pod deck question number 1 of the episode. Do you have a birthmark? If so, where? I don't know that I have a birthmark per se. My mom would probably be a better person to ask this question, but I do have a couple specific moles for my family. I have the mole and my son has the mole. It's like a little mole, like right under our arms. Ooh, my elbows are ashy. Ooh, can't do that. But it's just like a little beauty mark. It's really weird. But I also have like a little faded shape on my thigh that is very similar and reminiscent to something else that runs in my family. So those are the only ones that I can think of that are like birthmarks that I've had like forever. But my mom would probably tell you something different. Question number 2 is, what set of items could you buy that would make the cashier the most uncomfortable? I don't know. I am a big person that likes to use the self-checkout just because I don't like people touching my stuff. And this whole Panini Press pandemic that we are possibly coming out of, maybe, sort of, I'm still not a big person of let me get in line and have someone else touch all my stuff, because I like to bag my groceries a certain way. If there is a self-checkout, Stephanie's using it. So there's that. Let's talk about 2 books. Is it 2 books? It's series. It's a series and a book that if I could go back and reread it for the first time, I would. And the first one I'm going to talk about is the Avoiding series by K.A. Linde. This was probably my very first foray into super angsty, epic, YA, new adult ish, not YA, because I believe they're in college. So new adult angst that just makes you want to pull your hair out. That's what this series did to me. The Avoiding series. Oh my goodness. And like, even to this day in my reading moods, K.A. Linde is probably the only author that I find it's acceptable to have like a love triangle in that, where I'm not gonna like throw the book down and just not finish reading it, because love triangles aren't my thing. But I most definitely will pick up a K.A. Linde book where our main female character is flipping, flopping back and forth all over the place. And in this book, we have a woman that is with one person, and like you get told a story and lives their life through with this person, but then this other person comes in and she starts dating him, and then there's this moment where she's like, do I go back to this other one? Is this new thing where I need to be? Which side of the grass is greener? And the angst is just absolutely amazing. Then the second book that I'm telling you guys that I would love to reread for the first time again. I've actually read this book, one of the very few books that I've reread multiple times. I've read this book 3 times now, I believe, but it's Insidious by Aleatha Romig. And every single time it actually feels like I'm reading it for the first time, because I see so many more of the twists and the turns that Aleatha puts in this book. And it is like, oh, wow. I mean, when I want to say 2 years ago, when I buddied up with a group of romance readers, and we had a live show where we reread this book. And well, I reread it and they read it. Some of them read it for the first time. And then we got online and we had this huge discussion about it. They were bringing up things that I had like overlooked. And it was just like, it's almost like whenever I reread this book, I am reading it for the first time, because it's so complex and it's so twisted. I would call this a psychological thriller more than I would call it a romance, because it actually does not end with an HEA. It ends with an open ending for your interpretation. And Aleatha still has never told us what the meaning to the ending is. And it's all open to your own personal sort of interpretation of the things that you may have seen or the things that you may have read throughout the story. So, oh, so good. So good. I would definitely love to reread both of those, the series and the book, for the first time, so that I can just be in that moment again. So, would you read Closer by Alexa Martin or Alexa Riley? Why did I say Alexa Martin? Alexa Riley. Let me know your answers to those pod deck questions down in the comment section. And what is a book that you would like to reread for the first time over again? Down in the comment section, let's have conversation. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Also, there is a feedback form down in the description box so you guys can help me improve my channel. My PayPal, my Patreon, and all my other social links are down in the description box, so you can follow me everywhere. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you in tomorrow's video. If you